G'day two-wheel adventurers, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well as usual. Now this right here guys is my Beta RR480, which I'm turning into a bit of a dual sport lightweight adventure bike setup, and this is episode 2 of that build series. So if you guys haven't seen episode 1, maybe quickly go back, find that episode, watch that first. This video will make a little bit more sense and you'll find out what things I've already put on the bike to get to this stage. But today is about getting the bike ready for the Victorian High Country. I'm heading down there in just over a week's time, so I've got to get cracking on putting all these pieces on the bike that I've got here ready to go on today. I've got a bunch of them over on the bench just here, which I'll show you very shortly, but I'm also waiting on a bunch of other ones to be delivered in the next few days. So I literally just had one get dropped off as I started filming this video. It's time to get cracking, get the bike ready to tackle the Victorian High Country and all those tracks down there. But without further ado guys, I'll get all the stuff that I already have ready for today, give you guys a closer look. Now let's take a look at some of the items that I got going on the bike here today, guys. First one being this one right here, which literally just got delivered a few minutes ago. This is from the guys at Rival Inc, and this is their Thrill Seekers bar bag version 2. Now, reason that I've got a bar bag and not a tank bag, I want to free up a bit of space on this bike, so I've chosen not to run a tank bag this time. So the bar bag will mainly be used for obviously my phone, some charging cables, extra GoPro batteries, things like that. So it should work pretty well. Hopefully, we'll see how we go. My original plan was to use this harness pocket from the Legends at but I'm not quite sure if it'll work with GPS setup that I'm looking at running. The way this straps up there, it probably will get in the way. Now the harness pocket isn't designed to be a bar bag, it's designed to strap to your backpack and you can just run your phone in there. But I was going to try and use it as a bar bag. It may work, I'll see, but I think the Thrill Seekers one here might be the better option. We'll see what happens there. Also here I have a USB cable that I want to run in up onto the bars. Obviously filming everything, I need to charge GoPro batteries on the fly and charge the phone along the way is also handy as well. So there's 2 USB outlets on that. It's the same one that I use on my DRZ and it's done fine. We'll try and get that one on there as well. Also to do with power, I've got these 2 boxes here from Garmin. One of them is the wiring harness for my Zumo XT, which will run straight from the battery up onto the bars. And this right here is a mount that goes with the GPS unit. It's not the actual mount that goes on the bars. I'm still waiting for that, but that mount will go on the bars and this goes on that. And then the cable feeds into this mount. So it'll all come together. I will wire it all up today, hopefully. And then once the bar mount gets here, hopefully I can fit it all up proper. Now another thing I got, this right here is from the Legends at Ballard's Off-Road, and this is just some new bar mounts. Now this ties into my GPS setup that I got going, but I'll show you a closer look later when I start putting these bar mounts on. But the bar mounts that come on the Beta, it's like one whole piece that goes across. So it gets in the way of being able to mount my GPS unit in the middle like I want to. So these bar mounts will just replace the one that's on there. They're not risers or anything. They should be the same height. It'll just free up a bit of room so I can mount the GPS unit in the middle there where I want to. And then 2 more things that I've got right here. Now this one here was mentioned to me in the previous video, part 1, when I put the other mods on the bike, that being the radiator guards. And everyone said straight away, you'll need a thermo fan kit. The radiator guards do not allow enough air to get into the radiators there and cool the bike. I did go out on an enduro ride a little while ago and the bike did get very hot. So clearly you guys are 100% right. Not that I doubted you at all, but I didn't have time to get a fan on there before that ride. But that is what this is, straight from Beta, one of their thermo fan kits. So that'll be going on as well. Obviously well needed, as I've said. So if you haven't seen that other enduro ride, go and watch that and you'll see what I'm talking about. And then the last thing is this right here, which I wanted to put on in part 1's video, all the protection items, but I've finally got it here right now, and it is a bash plate from AXP. It's a polyurethane one, so it's super light. I think it's about 8mm thick, but doesn't really weigh much at all. So we'll chuck that one on there as well, and that is everything I have here today. The items that I'm still waiting on, I've ordered some other mounts and mirrors for my mirrors on the bars. I haven't got any on there at the moment because the only ones I have are the ones that come stock with the Beta, and they're pretty terrible. The mount on the left side is really bad. It doesn't use any existing points. It's just like a clamp, and I've put it on there and had a look at it and it's just not up to scratch. It'll rattle off as soon as I go for a ride. I've ordered some other stuff. Hopefully they work well. One other really big ticket item that I'm waiting on, which is not going to get here in time for the trip, which I'm really upset about. It is what it is, but I really needed this one, and that was the larger IMS fuel tank, the 13 litre one, I think it is, but it's not going to be here in time, unfortunately. It was on back order, but it's been pushed back. So I'm probably going to have to sort something out with tie downs on the back to use some fuel bladders that I have to get me by. Unfortunately, I won't have it for the High Country. And then the only other thing that I want to get on the bike is I want to change the tubes. I'm assuming the tubes that are in these tires are probably just standard ones, so I wouldn't mind replacing those with some heavy duty or ultra heavy duty tubes just to prevent any flats out on the tracks. I always run ultra heavy duty tubes and don't really have too many issues. I wouldn't mind doing that before I head down south. And then the next choice is tires. I'm unsure if I want to just leave these Max Enduro tires that came stock on the bike. I've still got plenty of tread left, but I don't know if it'll run well in the High Country with the mileage that I want to do, kilometers I want to do. We'll see what happens. I don't really want to spend the money and buy another pair of tires just for this one trip. So we might just run them and there'll be nothing left when I get back, but it doesn't really matter. Anyway, that's all that I have here today, guys. Those items I just showed you. I'll start whacking them on, and if I haven't made this video by the time the next items get here, well, I'll chuck them on as well and keep you guys updated with what's going on the bike. But enough chit chat, let's get into it. Start making some mods on this bike. There you go, guys, first mod done for the day, the AXP bash plate there. Really happy with how it looks. Makes the bike look pretty cool. It doesn't weigh much at all. I think it was 1.8 kilograms total, so really lightweight for a bash plate. Obviously polyurethane, a lot lighter than the steel ones. And this thing's a lot thicker, that's 8mm, and this is the standard one, which is about, I don't know, 3mm, super soft plastic. So much better protection on offer there with this one. On to the next. So next I'm going to start running some wiring, the USB charger and also the wiring for the Garmin Zumo XC up front. So I've removed some of the plastics there, and I've also unbolted the tank. It's still connected to the fuel line, but it's unbolted so I can lift it up and hopefully run it all underneath nice and neat and tidy and follow some existing wiring. Keep it all looking neat and out of the way. So that's the next job. Hopefully it shouldn't be too hard. Hook it up to the battery, run it up top here, and then I'll have to figure out those mounts on the bars to figure out where I'm going to actually mount the whole thing and if it's going to work how I want to. But I'll give you guys a close-up of what I mean with these bar mounts and how they're not really going to work for what I want it to do. But I'll crack on with the wiring and then we'll get up to the bar mounts. So I've been doing a little bit of fiddling around off camera. You would have seen I've chucked the bar bag on and the new handlebar mounts. Reason being, wanted to make sure everything sits nice and see where it all is before I go choosing where I want to stick this USB charger. It's just sitting in there for now. It's not in there permanently just yet. None of the cabling's ran, so they've come up good. Really like the look of the bar bag. It's a nice size there for what I want, but you can see why I removed the original mount there on the handlebars. Taking that away has just freed up the space in the middle there where I can mount my GPS mount once that gets here. But I'll be chucking up this, my Garmin Zumo XT, well-used one, but that should sit somewhere around there once the mount comes, right in the center. So I just want to make sure everything sits nicely before I go and stick the USB charger in there. But that's probably the only spot I can put it. Everywhere else that I try and put it, it's not really going to work, and that's the only spot that I can get it behind the headlight shroud, where the shroud actually goes back to its original spot. So kind of stuck with that, but I'll run all the cabling now, and then I'll wait until I get my GPS mount just to make sure that that's going to be accessible once the GPS is up here, and we should be good to go. But love this bar bag look, perfect size there on the front, so we'll see how she goes, and bar mounts come up a treat. So let's go get some cabling done. Well, day 2, I couldn't finish everything yesterday, so I've come out this morning to finish it off. All I've got left is install this thermo fan. I did just put it all together, got all the cables connected up and all the brackets on there ready to go, so it should be a pretty easy install. Just plugs straight into an original spot down under here on the wiring loom somewhere, so it'll be real easy in that sense. All I have to do is drain the coolant out, get this left-hand side radiator off, and then I can fit it all up. I'll just have to head out later to get some more coolant because I don't have any in the shed at the moment to fill it back up. So I'll head out later to do that. But anyway, we'll get cracking, drain this coolant, get that radiator off on the left side and fit this thing up, and yeah, I'll be done with what I have here ready to go for now. Well, there you have it guys, part 2 of the Beta RR480 build, pretty much done. As I said, there's a few other things I'm waiting on that aren't here yet, so I'll probably just chuck them on and not film it because I'll be in a rush to get ready to go to the High Country. So that'll be the mirrors. There's a couple of little mounts that I've got to chuck on there to get the mirrors that I want to work. And of course the GPS mount, which I've left a little bit of excess on the cable here for the Zumo XT. So once that gets here, I'll whack that on as well. So the next time you see a build video, they'll probably be already done, and I might make mention of those anyway, just so people keep up to date. But really happy with how everything's gone. But this thermo fan kit that I installed is straight from Beta, so it's meant for this bike. There's no switch or anything that I have to put on it. It's just gonna come on itself. The bike will figure it out because it just plugs straight into the wiring loom on the bike, which I think I already mentioned. So no switches at all. I'll keep an eye on that when I'm out riding and see if it flicks on and off as it should, but I'm sure it should work great. The only other thing I really wish I got to put on the bike in this video before I went to the High Country was the fuel tank. Didn't make it here in time, so unfortunately I'll be running a fuel bladder to get this trip done. But I'm sure in the next build video that tank will be going on, the IMS tank, so I really can't wait to get that one done. And this right here in my hand would have been going on if the tank was here as well. It's just a little mount that goes up on the bars, which you have to move the traction control ride mode switches that's down here above the fuel tank. Once you get the larger tank, that can't go there anymore. So this is just a mount to move it up onto the bars out of the way. So didn't need to do that in this video either, but in the next one, we'll get all that done. But I really hope you guys enjoyed this build series episode. As I said, if you haven't seen the first one, go back and watch that so you can keep up to date with what I've put on the bike. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the other build videos, and get subscribed as well so you can see how this thing goes in the Victorian High Country. It's going to be a heck of a trip. Can't wait to get down there and get into the fun. So thanks so much for watching guys. Like the video if you did enjoy it. Subscribe, stick around. I'd really, really appreciate it. Ride safe out there in your own tool adventures. See you soon.